Agent Carter Season 2, Episode 3, Better Angels. I like this episode. We get to see Wilkes come back, which unfortunately I knew because I was looking up a thumbnail for, I'm pretty sure it was like just for Episode 2, and I saw a picture of Wilkes and Howard together. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. I got spoiled. Because I didn't want to know 100%. I figured he'd come back. It seemed very obvious, but I was like, well, that kind of confirms it, so that kind of sucked. But it wasn't too bad because it was this episode. I didn't think it would be so soon that they'd have a solution to bring his character back. And I didn't expect it to be in this form. Because when I saw the picture, it was just like, oh, he's back to life. It saved him, and he's back. But this is obviously very different. So he has to get sprayed just to be visible and to be heard. He has to have his actual throat coated to be within a visible and audio. I can't think of the right word I'm looking for. But a visually acceptable and auditorially acceptable wavelength. I don't know if that's even a word, to be totally honest. But he's visible and we can hear him. So that was kind of an interesting twist as to how they saved his character. And they mentioned that he may or may not get his corporeal form back. And I think that's a very interesting concept where he could be trapped as, nearly a ghost. And it's just interesting. And they still can't touch him, even in the form that he's in. He's still just a wavelength, basically, to, the humans. So I thought that was really cool. It's like we can see him and hear him, but even when he's there, people can just, walk straight through him and it's nothing. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, that is just very interesting that, that's how he's alive at this point. And hopefully they can save him and he can, have a normal life. But he and Howard seemed to get along really great. It was cool to see Howard as well. Like, I was surprised he was in this episode because I didn't think he'd come in for maybe a couple more episodes. But it starts off and they're doing the movie thing. And I thought it was really funny because I didn't know it was Howard. I was like, what are they doing on this random movie set? And they're just messing up a whole movie. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why they're there, because it's Howard's movie. So I thought that was pretty funny because I'm like, they're messing up like some movie scene right now. And I was like, oh, it's just Howard's movie. It wasn't as bad when it was his own movie. But it was cool to see him in this episode. Naturally, really silly and funny. He has... I forgot what it was, but when they went back to his house and he had just a bunch of women there, he was like, I'm thinking, and they helped me think, and all this silly stuff. But he was funny. He was really good in this episode. He definitely helped out a lot. He, of course, made the compound that made Wilkes visible. He seemingly got along really great with him and stuff. He was really funny. Him on the coffee thing, I thought was pretty funny. Like, him being like hyperactive, and he's like, he wasn't too hyperactive, but it was clear he wasn't like his just calm, silly, sarcastic self. He was just like, yeah, I gotta do this and I gotta do that, like, everything's totally fine. Like, I couldn't find coffee, so I got this. And he was also drinking Irish coffee, which is just alcohol, basically. So it was just funny. It was just funny just seeing him throughout this episode doing, little things here and there. But it was fun. Like, we got a lot of cool, moments. We got to see Peggy when she got attacked by the one guy at the house. They both could have died. Like, her as well as Jarvis could have easily been killed. If that guy didn't fall in the water, if Peggy didn't, take him down into the pool, they could have died. And that's why his gun didn't work. For anyone who may have been confused, if a gun drops in water, odds are it's not going to work. It still can, but if it's in there long enough, which I think he certainly was, it's not going to work because it's the bullets, it's not the gun itself. The gunpowder in the bullets can't be lit by the pin anymore because it's soaking wet. It's not dry, so it can't fire. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like, he pulls the trigger, he's like, crap, it didn't work. And fortunately, Peggy was able to get him in the hand, so that might help a little bit. I didn't realize she did that until she said it, like, 4 scenes later or something. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it may have been like the next scene, actually. But when she mentioned that, it was like, oh, I didn't know she got him at all. I thought she just completely missed. But she said she got him in the hand. So, and considering they did that, I thought it was weird that they wouldn't do, like, blood samples or anything. Because when she mentioned that, I was like, oh, I had no idea. I thought she missed. And then I was like, well, shouldn't they do, like, some DNA stuff if they have, like, blood? I'm pretty sure that was the thing. It wasn't that long ago. So I was like, why aren't they doing like some DNA tests or something? And they may not have done that on record, during that time, but I'm sure it was possible. So that it may not have mattered. Even if they could accomplish it, it would be like, well, here it is, but it's not like it's on file, anywhere on Earth. Um, so I guess that's the case. But it was fun. Like that action scene, I thought was pretty nice. The scene before with Jarvis when he was trying to help, like, if you want a sparring partner, and then she did like the spin backhand. He was like, oh, I'm sure Mr. Stark will hire you a trainer or something, like hire one for you. So that was a funny little moment. It was cool to see that he came in and helped her out, because I was like, this is gonna be crazy. Which it made perfect sense, because I'm like, how could he not hear? Like when someone like jump in the pool is like, like that's weird. She was just fighting, and then she just jumps into the pool like nothing. So it made perfect sense that he'd come back and he helps out. I thought for sure he was about to get stabbed after he hit the guy, because they were kind of um, about to start fighting. And of course, I think it's because it's TV. The guy did a spin, but I was like, he could have easily just stabbed him, but instead he did like a full spin and tried to and knocked him down instead. I was like, oh, okay, TV, I guess. But that was cool. That was an interesting scene. The guy who was the assassin looked insanely familiar to me. I don't know if he was in another episode or if I've just seen him in something else. Like, he just looked so familiar to me. I don't know. Like, it was weird. I was like, have I seen him before? Maybe he was just in one of the other episodes, but he wasn't. They didn't focus on him. I just happened to notice because I was looking around the scene or something. But I don't know. He looked insanely familiar to me. He also looked a little bit like Bill Paxton, who was the main villain for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the first season. So that was interesting. But that was a cool little moment. And then we have, of course, Sousa helping out Peggy. That was kind of normal. But then we have Jack in this episode who learns the secrets. And we also find out that he's not exactly working for the FBI like we thought. I figured it made sense. They're working for the FBI. Government hides stuff all the time. No big deal. That's not exactly crazy to me. It was like it happens. But then when his buddy introduces him to whatever the guy's name, the Cal or Calvin, that was surprising. It was like, okay, they're at this club, and then he introduces him to the guy, and of course he reads the newsletter, and it's exactly what Peggy told him. It was like whatever the guy's name was, Ankles in election, and I was like, boom, he knows the truth now, which he knew ahead of time anyway, but that kind of just sealed the deal, because he knew, once he watched the video, it was like, okay, clearly this is something insane. So, we got that, then he got the newspaper, so I'm sure things are going to be pretty interesting. He may still leave, and we may get the sort of Two Coast timeline things where he goes back and he possibly tries to still talk to Dottie or something. But I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, okay, now that he knows the truth 100%, what is he going to do with it? Like, is he going to, kind of stay behind and let Peggy and Sousa kind of deal with things so that he's seemingly keeping a good eye on it? Is he going to basically spy now? Because now that he's on the inside, that's kind of the perfect place to be. He could say he's doing all of these different things, and it's like, all right, we take, if they get any more footage or something, it's like, we check this out, take meticulous notes, note every single thing, watch it 100 times, and then I'll hand it over as if we never even watched it and we just got it. So they could easily do that, which is very smart, and just, keep a man on the inside. Also dangerous as usual, but I don't know, I feel like now that he's kind of gotten that moment, he's really got to make a tough decision. I think he's going to make the right decision, because he is a good guy, because he watched the film and he kind of knew that that's what they were looking for. And of course he lied straight to the guy's face. He's like, if Rita Hayworth isn't in it, I'm not interested. So he knew to lie right away. So I'm sure he's going to make some good decisions. Peggy destroyed him when they were having that argument, which I loved. I thought that was the best thing ever. And she was like, I forgot exactly how she put it, but it was like, you prefer to stay behind the front lines and do horrible things and get medals pinned on you and stuff. I was like, dang, it was kind of messed up, because it was such a, from the first season, it was something that really hurt him. But I was like, he did kind of deserve it though, but I was still kind of sad for him. I was like, man, that was like, he said some little thing I don't even remember, and then she just obliterated him with that. I was like, dang, she just destroyed him. So that was really funny. And just an awesome moment in general for Peggy. I was like, she just annihilated him. And then there was another moment. I think it was when they were first talking about helping Dr. Wilkes and making him visible and making him corporeal in general. And Sousa mentioned how they use silver nitrate to bond stuff to film, and that's how they make photographs and everything. And everyone stopped and looked at him, and he's like, "What's the scientific, strategic reserve? Like, I'm not stupid. I actually, pay attention to stuff." I thought that was a funny moment too. Everyone's just like blown away, like, "Holy crap, he knows something." He's like, "It's where I work. Like, I'm not an idiot." So I like that moment too. But it was a fun episode. We got some pretty cool action, some interesting reveals with Wilkes, and then of course the insane reveal at the end of the episode where we had two reveals with her. I forgot her actual name, but I believe her last name, Whitney Frost. That's her fake name. We find out her real name and how she's like a spy and everything like that. And then we find out at the end, from like the gross producer guy or whatever, that Whitney can absorb people, and that was pretty nuts. And it was out of anger. Like, she freaked out and she grabbed him, and basically she implanted like the zero matter into his body, and that was kind of it. Like, she implanted it in his body, and then he basically turned into zero matter and just absorbed straight into her. And then the little crack grew like a tiny bit more, and I was like, okay, if she accidentally absorbs people, it'll expand beyond. Because that's why, like, I realized once that crack happened, that's when I realized why she had it to begin with, is because the zero matter is a bit too much for her body to handle. It's just enough to where she probably can't feel anything. There are no physical differences or anything outside of the little scratch. But now she's taking in more mass because she converted an entire human into more zero matter, and she's absorbed it. So now there's just a little bit more cracking on her head because her body is, just a tiny bit, it lost control, because of the zero matter, because there's a tiny bit more, and it was already just excessive enough to cause the little scratch, so now it's open wider. And I thought that was cool. I thought it was a really awesome scene because I was surprised that happened. And, perfect way to do that. Like, he comes in and it's like, I told him I would, I'd walk if they got rid of you and stuff. And I was like, oh, he's actually a cool guy and stuff. Because I'm pretty sure he was the same guy from the other episode. It was like, I thought you knew how to like older women. I'm pretty sure that was the same guy. I'm like, he's kind of okay, I guess. I mean, he did help her. He kind of insulted her a little bit in the other one, but I don't know. I mean, he did more good than bad based on just those two scenes alone, considering he helped her keep her job. And then it was like, oh, now he's just a horrible human being. But it doesn't matter because he's been converted and absorbed. So, I don't know what to expect from that. She also had a really funny scene as well when she was messing with her husband and she started fake crying. I'm like, how does he not realize she's acting? She's an actress. Like, you can't fall for the fake crying stuff when you have an actress wife. Like, that just didn't make any sense. I was like, he's just an idiot. But they got a lot of issues anyway, so I don't know. I guess it doesn't even matter whether he believed her or not. They're gonna have the same issues, to be totally honest. Peggy, as she mentioned though, she's not gonna make the same mistake twice, considering what happened. But I like this episode. I actually think I like this one more than the other ones. I think the first two were fun, but I always like the episodes that kind of give us the answer rather than the setup. It's like, oh, setups are cool, but then it's just like, well, now I just want answers. So a little bit more answers, more questions, of course, with the ending and the whole full-on human conversion thing. But that was actually really awesome. So I loved that. Looking forward to her. I'm kind of looking forward to Whitney kind of going out on her own because I feel like something's going to happen once her husband finds out. I don't think he's going to make it through this season. I think she's going to end up absorbing him because he's going to be like, we got to go to the council. Or the council will find out from maybe a random member and she's going to have to kill everyone in the council so that she can save her husband as well as herself, because they'd probably, most likely, they'd just kill her husband off so that he can't fight back when they try to kidnap her and do crazy experiments and stuff. So I don't know. Either he's not going to make it or this whole little council isn't going to make it, but she's going to kill some more people. And I kind of can't wait to see her kind of get corrupted by this and want more power and stuff like that. If that'll happen, it might not happen. It still could just the whole time be a scary situation for her, which could also be very entertaining because it's a villain who seemingly is like a low level villain, but then she's, you know, kind of trapped in like this weird world where she's got the zero matter inside of her and she doesn't want to like explode or, you know, or something crazy. So they kind of, either way, I think it'll be entertaining to see what happens to her, whether she goes full evil villain, or even if she's just the normal villain, but she's constantly in fear of getting worse because of her condition. So either way, I'm looking forward to what they do with her. Looking forward to seeing what Jack does, his decisions, and whether he spies or he's gonna help out. He's gonna say something like, "All right, you were right, I was wrong," and then he'll do something that probably won't really matter, to be totally honest. But yeah, he can do something. He's in the show, he has to. But I enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Hopefully, Wilkes can get his full-on human form back. That would be nice, and he's not trapped as a wavelength that's most of the time, you know, impossible to see or comprehend for humans. Really looking forward to seeing what they do with Whitney, and hopefully Howard will be in this next episode as well, because I like seeing Howard in the show, because he's really funny. So I enjoy that. Like the episode, of course. Want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And based on that ending scene with Whitney and her turning that guy into zero matter and completely absorbing him, I want to know what you guys think is going to happen with her character. Is she just going to end up absorbing a bunch of people by accident? Absorbing people on purpose? Is she going to do research and figure out how to get rid of, you know, the zero matter from within her body? Also, what do you guys think the answer, or, you know, the reason is as to why, you know, it did go into her? Because it blew Wilkes into, like, basically, you know, a different range of existence. And for her, it just like, oh, well, turn him into a wavelength. And then for her, it just went into her, and now she kind of has control over it a little bit. And she can probably gain control. So what do you guys think the real reason is behind, you know, what happened? Because, you know, we got to see the full explosion from the video, and that like absorbed people and trucks and all sorts of crazy stuff, but somehow not that camera. And then this explosion happens, and it's just like, well, one guy got sent, you know, he got changed on a molecular level, and then this woman is basically the same, she just has the matter inside of her. So I want to know your speculations for that, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.